Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web. We've got the Disciple of Kyuss to do now, and I've not a clue. Yeah, I have an idea of what I want to do with him, but I'm not sure about these, whether these are actually tentacles or what they are, but that's how I'm going to treat them. So, to start off with, I'm going to use Steel Legion Drab, and I'm going to go over what I think possibly could be tentacles. What I'm going to do when this has dried is obviously highlight the tentacles, and then go over it with the PVA glue to give them a nice shiny look. I'm thinking very similar to the Leech Necromancer, black for the cape. And just in case you're wondering about the face, it looks as though he's wearing a featureless mask to cover his identity, shall we say. So I'm assuming that the Disciples of Kyuss, however it's pronounced, are very secretive. I'm not quite sure what he's holding there. I'm going to have to look once more at the main of the original image to find out. I don't suppose there is anything on the box itself that will give me an idea. And I've seen an image. Obviously it does have tentacles for hands, so I'm assuming it's just all tentacles again, in which case Legion Drab again, and go over what must be his hands. I'm using brown tentacles on the image on the box. You can see it's pink, but I'm using like a darkish pinky colour for his clothing. Okay, so that's. I need to just go over. Keep getting the top of his head. Or keep forgetting the top of his head, not getting the top of his head. I think I did that with the last figure I did. Not the last figure I did, the Leech Necromancer. So, bear in mind this is the penultimate figure. The next one we do will be the Draco Leech. And that will end this series. Thinking about it, that is a bit too excessive. So what I'm going to do, it's too bright indeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pinky purpley colour. I'm going to take a couple of big blobs of it, and inside that I'm going to mix some dark flesh, which is a reddish browny colour, just to make it, just dumb it down a bit, not to make it not as vivid and brighter colour. There we are. a little better. What I'll also do now is go over with a completely different kind of colour. I think I will go over with Goblin Green. I will do the vestments, do the sash. I suppose there will be vestments. I'll do this sash in Goblin Green, and then highlighting Scorpion Green. And once this is on, then I'm going over. I am going to go over on this with Agrax Earthshade, just to make sure everything is as it should be covered. Now, I'm puzzled as to what I can use for his mask. I am actually thinking pure white or a very pale grey. I think grey would be better. So I'm going to use Administratum grey. Ours used to be Fortress grey, and we'll just go over there we are. I just need to tilt up round the mask now with the black and let it dry for a couple of seconds. So we're going to be using Nuln sand. And let's just get a small amount on the brush and oops, dry brush over. Bear in mind it's going to have a wash of Agrax Earthshade over it, so you don't have to, if you get a little bit too much over it like I have, doesn't matter, because the Agrax Earthshade will hide any mistakes. And the same there. Okay, so I'll just let that dry off for a short time. So I'll do the body, in the Agrax Earthshade, the cape and the face will be done in Nuln oil, and then once that's dried we can come back and highlight properly. But just as I say, slap the paint on rather, make sure it's in all the nooks and crannies, all the little indents, the recesses, and then let it dry. Okay, what I'm going to do now is get some sticky tack or blue tack or whatever you want to call it. Place it on the top of an old paint pot and then put that on top of there so it sticks on. That way I'm not touching the model when I come to do the Nuln oil, which I shall be doing now. And remember, the cape and his face gets done in Nuln oil, just to make sure that everything's covered. But it is a handy way of doing it. It keeps your fingers away and it allows you to get the paint on without touching wet paint. This allows you to pick it up, put it down, handle it, and without affecting the paintwork. So I think it's something that I'm going to have to start doing. But as I say, it's something that I've not actually done properly, and I really should. I know I really should. So now that desert yellow, and there's a grey one there as well. What grey was that one? Codex grey. Now that they're done, empty, I can use it without running the risk of spoiling the paintwork I've just done. Okay, so that's so far with the Disciple of Kyuss, whatever. Right, so we're going to just finish off now highlighting the Disciple of Kyuss. Everything should have dried okay, so it's just a case now, as I say, of adding the highlights. So let's start off with the green. Here we go. Oh, let's get to see. And yeah, it's just a case of going along the raised edges. There we go. That's that done for the green area. Next we'll do the this part, and oops, I'm knocking everything flying around. I'll use the Warlock purple, which is the original colour we used for this, but if you remember we darkened it down, so I can use this. I think I may need a further highlight colour for this, which will be a mix of this Warlock purple with Screaming Skull. Let's see how it looks when it dries. I think what I'm going to use for that design at the bottom of that item of clothing, this one, Ball Brown, whatever it may be. This is the replacement colour for snakebite leather. case of the highlight for this will be, yeah, might as well do Screaming Skull, hadn't I? Now, here we go for the highlights for the black. And this will be a series of black and grey mixes. So I'll do get a black on the palette, and then we're mixing our Dawnstone. Okay, so it's make it just that touch lighter. And go over everywhere that's raised. Of Administratum grey. I'll give it a shake first of all. And make that much lighter. There will be another highlight colour after this, but you don't want to cover, you can faintly see where the previous colour's gone, and you don't want to cover all that up. You just want to go with inside that. There we go. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to dry, I will get the Screaming Skull and just run a little bit over the Balor Brown that I used earlier. Just along the top edges. You don't want to overdo this bit, you want to just keep it so that it's just, so the top edges of things that you can leave because it's going to be in shadow. Pick and choose where you're going to do stuff. If you do it in the wrong place, it's going to look wrong. finally let's go back to the black, just for that extra little piece of highlighting, which will be just a touch more of the Administratum grey and the previous grey we've had. And this is going to be the final, shall we say, extreme highlighting. Well, let's face it, it's going to have to be, because I'm running out of the black paint that we've used. Okay, this is just simply a fine line anywhere where the light is definitely going to hit. I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, you don't want to be going over every little piece of the highlighted areas, just the parts that's definitely going to be in the light, because if you did it all over, it wouldn't look nice. You want a nice, well, like a graduated effect rather, where it goes from very light to the dark. And this doesn't look too bad now. I'm quite pleased with that. Okay, so the next thing is quite simply just a mask, and then the eyes. So the eyes I'm going to do in blood red. Just because I think it looks quite, I would say, demonic. So I don't usually do eyes, as you know, but I wanted something a little different for this character. And then Administratum white, no, Administratum grey, sorry. Give it another shake. Don't forget, we've already gone over this with the Nuln oil, so it's darkened it slightly. So we just want a little bit here and there, like where the nose will be. That is the Disciple of Kyuss. On the previous video I was calling him Kyuss. It's Kyuss. Kuss. Wow, no clue. So there we go. That's that one done. The next time I'm back on camera, we'll be doing the big one, which will be the Dracolich. So until then, take care, God bless, and bye for now.